Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and I hope this finds you well on this Tuesday as I'm, fingers crossed, hopefully wrapping up shows in my bedroom. Got a big doctor's appointment tomorrow after the show. Hopefully the quarantine will be over, and I will be back at the offices in Phoenix on Thursday. Eric's still in the hospital. Continue to pray for Eric. It's been a huge struggle. A little bit of good news for him. A little better yesterday. So it's been 3-4 days since I've heard the better word. So that's a good sign. Little better. Keep praying for him, and we'll get him out of that hospital here in no time, and hopefully back to work. It's going to be a recovery, though. You know, I was in the hospital. It was only a 5-day stay, and today marks 2 weeks. I got home on a Tuesday 2 weeks ago, and really, I really wasn't feeling up to going to work until yesterday. So it's a process. Hopefully, like I said, doctor's appointment tomorrow. They just want to make sure that I'm able to go out and interact and not get pneumonia again. I'm not contagious or anything like that. It's the fear for me is with the immune system weakened, being susceptible to catching pneumonia again. Hopefully that'll be over. I'll be back to work on Thursday. In the meantime, I've got Jason Walker. Jason, who runs our Colorado facilities, joining us this morning. Jason, quite a move in gold and silver today.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're going to say what's up today, and it's silver and gold too.
Well, I always tell the story. Gold and silver are brothers, right? Gold is the older brother. He's the one, mom and dad, they tell gold, listen, you're in charge, you watch after your little brother silver and make sure he doesn't get into any trouble, right? And gold is steady. Gold today, gold's up $24-25. And that's nice. That's a good move on a day. But today, silver's up $1.25. Which puts it up like 6.5% in a single day. And I always used to, tell the story about gold and silver. No, hey, dinner's at 6 o'clock. We got to be home at 6 o'clock for dinner. And if we're not home by 6 o'clock for dinner time, mom and dad are going to be upset, and we're going to be in trouble. And they're walking home, and as they're walking home, silver likes to wander. Sometimes he falls way behind Big Brother. Other times he runs way out in front of him. But eventually they end up at the house at the same time together. And what we're seeing now, we've been waiting for this. Silver had fallen way behind. He got distracted. There were some butterflies or something that caught his attention walking home, and gold was yelling at him, you better hurry up. And, well, guess what? Silver's running now. I saw the gold to silver ratio this morning down to 87. And of course, you guys know I don't use the official numbers. I think they're all hogwash. I have what I call the double J gold and silver index, 65 ounces. That's what I believe fairly priced silver to gold is. In other words, how many ounces of silver to buy an ounce of gold? We just broke the record this year on the, well, I guess we'll call it the high side, Jason. I think we got up to 124, may have touched 125 ounces of silver for an ounce of gold. So almost double what I said the price should be. We're already back to 87. Yesterday I told you get ready for $25 silver, and now today, in one day, it may be $30 silver before it's all said and done. And not, I'm just talking about short term, in the next 6 months. Depending on where gold is, I think we're going to see a new all-time high in gold. Matter of fact, as of today, we could see a new all-time record high price in gold any day now. Gold's 1,840, 1,841. Silver now is above $21. Essentially, silver just skipped 20 altogether. Went from 19 and change all the way up to 21 and change. Still no supply of silver. I mean, there's nothing out there. No, there's no junk. There's no silver eagles. There's no silver bars. On the gold side, everything disappearing, and I mean everything. 5 Indians, 10 Indians, 5 libs, $20 pieces, $10 pieces, just in very, very short supply. I do have an item. It wasn't the item I was hoping for yesterday, but I do have, and it's a great value, great item. We'll get to that a little bit later, but this is the problem that we're facing now when we're talking about gold and silver, and everyone looking at all the spending, and are we going, we're in a recession. Are we going to stay in the recession? What's the recovery going to be? The V thing seems to be gone now. Is it going to be a W where we kind of made it back and then we'll go back down again? Is it going to be a square root sign, right? All this, who knows?
Well, Joe, when you're doing cursive writing, and then a couple of those letters you have to go down below the line. I think that's where it's going.
it may go down below the line. Patriot Radio News Hour. Hey, we got a great show lined up for you on this Tuesday. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. 800-951-0592. I just heard a commercial on KHNC for James Morgan. He's our real estate expert up there in Colorado. And I got to tell you, someone shared a story with me yesterday about their experience with James Morgan, and I just need to tell it because it really is how all of our advertisers on 1360, the family atmosphere, the quality of service, all those things, they're the best of the best. And I got an email from this person talking about how, hey, him and his wife were buying a house. They told James exactly what they wanted and blah, 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 right? And they went out, and there's not a lot of, kind of like Phoenix, not a lot out there. There was a house that they liked. They didn't love it, but they liked it, and they were like, you know what, good enough. Good enough. We're tired. We're just gonna buy this one. And they were gonna go in the day they're going in to sign the papers. James had kept working and working because he knew, he's like, yeah, they like that house, but that's not what they said they wanted. And the day they're going to go sign on the dotted line to buy this house, he says to them, hey, a couple of houses popped up. There's this one you have to go look at. And he took them over there, and it was perfect. And here was the thing that really made it interesting. The house was $30,000 less than the one they were going to buy, but it was actually the house they really wanted. It met all the criteria. So James, that's what he's about. He took less commission, knew he was going to get less. He didn't care. He's like, this is the house they want. I want them to be happy. I just had to share that story, Jason.
Oh yeah, that's James is working hard. He's gotten a little busier the last few weeks. So he's running. He drives. He drives a lot of miles. He's all over the state.
Well, yeah, and the Front Range. It's just huge, and he can listen. I'm just telling you, if you're looking to buy a house, looking to sell a house, property, whatever it may be, give James a call. The guy's fantastic. I've met him personally, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 times. I can't even tell you how many times I've talked to this guy on the phone. Just a great human being. And I just had to tell that story because that's something you don't see today. Today, a realtor hey, I've got them. They're going to buy this house, and it's going to be more. I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. I'm done with them. I'm going to move on to the next guy. James kept working for them and got them the house they really wanted, and saved them money at the same time. So I just wanted to throw that out there and support our advertisers. Everything we do over there at 1360 KHNC. Follow us on Facebook. Obviously, this show, Patriot Trading Group. I mean, we've got a huge online following, YouTube, and all of the podcasts. There's so many of them, I can't even name them all. We thank you guys so very, very much.
I'll add in there that the same people that are buying that house are going to be using turf tamers for the backyard landscaping, and Colorado Kitchen and Bath, which is a new advertiser for to finish the basement. So there's a lot here. If you want to support KHNC, there's a lot. Our advertisers are growing, and they can do a lot when it comes to home building.
And I'm going to tell you this too. I've been holding back because I've been on the shelf here. We've got several more advertisers getting ready to come on board. We're also working on, and I've teased it a few times, we're also going to have an FM signal here very, very shortly. And we're just super excited about it, and a lot of great things happening at the radio station. And Jason is the main guy there, so give him an attaboy. He's been the one taking care of business for us, and especially with me and Eric down for the count. Man, you guys just stepped up. You guys were huge. I can't thank you enough. I feel so much better these last few days. I'm ready to get back to work and ready to continue on this path. There's a reason I feel, and I've felt this way ever since I went on the air to look for partners to open that second Colorado office. There's been divine intervention at work here. I really believe that. I mean, my relationship with Sharon and buying the station, getting partners like Jason and Brian and Glenn. I mean, that never happens. When you're out there and you do something like this, you're always bound to run into a guy that you thought it was going to be a good fit, and then it turned out it wasn't. We've been truly blessed. We've got a
Joe,
great team.
I think it's more divinely influenced than you even know. We haven't had a lot of time to talk. Joe's been down and trying to keep the stress level down as he's been getting better. But there's just so much that Joe is right on the nose that it's more than just guys making decisions and people bumping into each other. It's definitely there's definitely a plan in place.
I believe it. And when I was in the hospital, it was funny because I started thinking about a lot of things. When you come that close to, hey, you almost lost your life, you tend to look back and reflect and think upon things. And one of the things that I was determined to do was, between Fox and CNN, I'm just sick of it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm freaking sick of it.
Everything you hear is fake.
It's so, I get so mad. And here's the funny thing is, and I think I've told this story before. When I met Sarah, and Eric is Sarah's dad's brother. Okay, so he's not really my uncle; he's my wife's uncle, and that's how I met Eric. I was, Fox wasn't relatively new back then, and all the stock channel stuff and these things that they convince you to really. Unfortunately, Wall Street is a lot like, in my opinion, what's happened to the middle class. Wall Street, by and large, is a device for super wealthy people that prey upon the people that aren't. And I'm gonna, hopefully today I'll get to it. I want to talk about 401ks here and remind you just how bad of a deal we've really gotten in all of this. But I was a Fox guy. You know, if Bill O'Reilly said it, or Glenn Beck, you remember Glenn Beck used to be on Fox, you know, right? Right? They said it, it had to be true. Remember, Lou Dobbs used to be on CNN, right? Remember that. People forget. And of course, all of a sudden, right, there's the shuffle. Well, CNN, Lou Dobbs is like, I can't be on CNN. I'm in conservative, right? You know, I got to go to Fox. And some of the Fox people ended up at CNN and blah, blah, blah. You lost, you lost any other say in all of this.
Well, and Joe, I think it's where the trap that a lot of people get into, which is this is my team. And my team's right, and their team is wrong.
And they do that.
And look with coronavirus, Joe.
Event. You're right.
Look with coronavirus, how the NFL and Major League Baseball and all the sporting leagues just stopped. Look how quickly all the leagues just stopped. So your team, their team, does it really matter? It really doesn't. You gotta look at it more smartly than that.
But what I was getting at when Eric and I started to develop this relationship. And we were just friends. I mean, we'd go golfing, have a few beers, and just enjoyed each other's company. He started just how Eric does it, always with humor, and started putting little seeds of doubt in my mind about, hey, those Fox guys, yeah, they're fine, but understand what it is you're listening to. That's not really the facts, right? Remember the no spin zone, which was really code for it's the total spin zone, right? And I really started to pay a lot more attention to as Jason says, everything is fake. We're getting led down these paths. It doesn't matter. The left's going down this path, the socialism, the right's going down this path. We used to be called conservatives. There's nothing conservative about the Republican Party anymore. It's gone. I mean, Just look at the deficits. Look at the situation they've really put us in to save themselves. Because who have they saved in this?
Themselves.
Who have they saved?
They saved themselves.
Who have they saved? They haven't saved the small little restaurants. They're all going out of business. And you're going to see they're all going out of business. They didn't save the guys now, what I'll call the 1099 employees, which all of these companies love to have. Getting an unemployment check as a 1099 employee is almost impossible. And, of course, they changed the law to allow it, and even then, the hoops you got to jump through, it's incredible.
Yeah, Joe, there's a franchise pizza place in Longmont, Old Chicago's, and as soon as coronavirus hit, it was like they was shot with a bullet. Man, they was just gone instantly. They evaporated. They were barely hanging on as the way it was. As soon as this thing hit, man, they folded. They were gone. That's what
a lot of these, especially the chains, the bigger chains. They just get rid of their crappy stores.
Yep.
And they've got a lot of them. And they just shrink their footprint. But the guys, the people on the street, you think about, I remember with Obama and the Obama presidency, and they were talking about job growth. And, of course, I was telling you, go to college, get your degree so you could be a waiter or a waitress. Heck, you can maybe ask them if they want paper or plastic. I mean, these were the jobs that were created.
Shovel ready.
Yeah, hospitality work, waitresses, bartenders, right? I put your burrito coverings on. These are the jobs that got created. And these are the jobs that are going to get decimated. And, of course, this is the last week of the $600. It's going to be really, really interesting how all of this plays out. But when Eric was the one that got me to start doing a little more research and not just, being a spoon-fed Fox guy, right? If Bill O'Reilly said it or Glenn Beck said, oh, yeah, it's got to be, well, they know. And when I look at 1360, this is what we're about. You know, and I hate when people, it's conspiracy theory or no. No.
I don't mind the term conspiracy, Joe. Conspiracy is what
well, for me, though, you know what they want you to believe, hey, there's only one opinion you can have, and it's the opinion we give you. Right. And if you don't have that opinion, well, you're an idiot. And on both sides. So, the left's got their channel, the right's got their channel, and it's the same thing. You need to believe the opinion that we give you. Forget about what the real facts are. Because let's face it, all of us, we all know, there's nobody out there that believes you can shut down the entire country and expect good things to happen. That's wrong. But guess what else is wrong, right? What else is wrong is telling all of us early on not to prepare, not to wear masks, not to, go out to Chinatown and all this. That was just as wrong. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. Mrs. Schlafly was a courageous and articulate voice for traditional values and common sense for more than 70 years. Now, continuing that legacy, here's the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
When America was introduced to the horrendous pandemic known as COVID-19, many of us were also introduced to the awful problems of online video conferencing. With spotty connections, confusing login information, software downloads, and forgetting to unmute, I think it's safe to say that none of us are big fans of video conferencing. Now, Michigan State University published an article alerting academia to a supposed unconscious bias in video conferencing. Leave it to the social justice warriors in higher education to take something unpleasant and make it completely unbearable. In the article, authors Amy Bonomi and Nelia Viveros claim video conferences are offensive to LGBT people. According to the authors, having pictures of your family in the background of your video call is an endorsement of traditional marriage and an attack on people who aren't in a traditional marriage. This kind of ridiculousness is the logical next step of the academic left. First, they started saying we need to be tolerant of everyone. The idea was that we could disagree with someone else, but that we shouldn't confront them. Then the academic elites started saying we need to accept everyone. That meant we were no longer allowed to disagree with LGBT people at all. Now they're telling us we have to take pictures of our families off the walls in our homes because those pictures might just offend others. I've got news for the academic elites. You can say whatever you want from your ivory towers, but Americans don't plan on taking down pictures of their families anytime soon. If family offends you, that's your problem. Nobody has the right to tell someone to remove pictures in their own home just because it hurts their feelings. Family is so worth celebrating. Phyllis Schlafly started the pro-family movement because she understood that our families deserve political protection. The traditional family is still the very best environment in which to raise productive citizens of good moral character and strong faith. I hope you'll take a look at the pictures on your wall, hang another one up there, and celebrate the value of this great institution.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. The traditional family is the building block of our communities and country. That's why it's imperative to support strong marriages, respect fathers, and champion stay-at-home moms. At phyllisschlafly.com, we oppose the liberal attempt to redefine the family. To join us, visit phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us again next time for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
800-951-0592. Gold and silver at the highs of the day. Gold $18.42, $18.43. Silver $21.25 to the ounce. I said before the break, I do have an opportunity. It wasn't the opportunity I was hoping for. Product availability is going to be more difficult, and I think it's going to stay that way for the foreseeable future. As gold is at the highest levels in 9 years, but really right here at 1842. That's the highest gold price ever, with the exception of a 24-hour period in 2011, where gold hit an intraday high at 1900. I think it closed at 1880, and then the very next day, gold was down well over $100 to the ounce, and over a 3-day period, gold had lost $150 from that 1880 closing price. So this is the second highest gold price ever, within less than $40 away from a all-time closing record high. That is going to fall. You know, I told you guys yesterday, $2,000, but that's in the bag. I think that really, if you put a gun to my head and said, "Where's gold going to be at the end of the year?" You know, you've got I'll give you the highs, the lows, $2,000 to $3,000 to the ounce.
I agree with that.
Okay, that's the range, in my opinion. The range for the end of the year, 2,000 to 3,000, that's an incredible thing. I mean, you know, they use it like football is right. You could drive a Mack truck through that hole. You know, it's such a big thing.
Not really.
If you put a gun to my head.
It's not really that big of a difference, Joe. It's not that big. I mean, when we talk 3,000.
Well, I mean, come on, $1,000 that's half of the $2,000.
I'm thinking of 3,000 to 7,000 in 2021. I mean, so
well, yes, and longer term, it's going to be much higher than that. And you know, we're talking 2 to 3. Trust me, this 2,000, 3,000. I know that's exciting, but that's nothing. Remember why Eric came back? Came back because he thinks gold's going to 25,000. I've talked him down. I had to talk him down. I talked him down to 20,000. Just say 20,000. It'll sound better. But that's that, and this is exactly what we're seeing. Here's where I think if you said, okay, listen, you need to pick a number. Put a gun to my head. I'm just going to tell you, $2,500 is probably with what I know today. This is where I'm coming in at. There's going to be another stimulus. I think we're going to break the all-time record high on the stimulus news. Whether it's going to be $1 trillion, $2 trillion, $3 trillion, we'll wait and see. But I think what's going to happen is this stimulus package is going to be light, and you're going to hear talk about them doing even more before the end of the year. And I think 2,500 to 3,000 is if you said, hey, where is it more likely going to be? I think gold will end up closer to 3,000 than to 2,000. And as Jason pointed out, 2021, 22, 23, go to 2025. 2025 is not that far away.
No.
Right? It's not that far away. And I'm sitting there thinking, 2025, if my youngest son's, is able to stay the course here, he's going to be graduating from college in 2025. Okay? So that's a good, way of looking at it. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, the deficit is going to be like $50 trillion, right? Social Security is going to be broke. The amount of spending that's going to need to take place, I believe that we'll be well on our way to some form of a digital currency. I also think we'll be well on our way to a war with China. That's just what I think is going to happen. And again, a lot closer to the $20,000 gold price than to $2,000 or $3,000 that we're talking about today. But everybody, and you're seeing it now, and you're watching We have a huge fight in the street. Think about Seattle. Think about Portland and Chicago, in New York, St. Louis, Minneapolis. I mean, these cities where we've seen horrible rioting, huge increases in crime, and you know what's so funny that I don't get is these are democratically held strongholds. And obviously the Democrats have failed them, but somehow they're able to convince everybody that they're not the problem, it's the other guys, the guys that aren't in charge of these cities, right? The mayors are Democrats. The governors are Democrats. The police chiefs are Democrats. The people, they're all Democrats. And of course, the answer is they want to get more and more socialist and more liberal. Have you watched any of these riots? Have you seen it?
Yep, I've seen some of it. Yep.
It's 20-some-year-old white guys and girls. That's who it is. I mean, there's some black people in there, but it's white people doing it. You know, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, where are your parents? Right? I don't know if you remember, you saw the clip. There was I want to say it was in St. Louis. A black mother saw her son on TV rioting, and she drove down there and grabbed him by the ear, and dragged him out of there.
I'm surprised they allowed that on TV.
and everybody was like, yes, that woman's got it right. Where are the parents? Of course, I'm sitting there, and my wife's like, look at these kids. I'm like, they're not kids. They're not kids. You know what I was doing? I was managing drugstores at 23 and 24 years old. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. Welcome back, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe Jaquint, along with Jason Walker here. Remember, keep Eric in your prayers, please. It's working. Progress is being made. Let's get him home. I wanted to throw that in there before I forgot. Joe Biden. Hey, listen, whoever's got Biden's campaign right now, they're doing great. And I'm just saying, because he's not saying anything.
Right.
And just across the screen, he was supposed to pick a VP, delaying it till August now. No reason to pick one. Brilliant, right? Yeah, keep going, right? Don't pick anybody. No good can come out of that. I mean, listen, think about what's happened here. You have, I don't even know what we want to call them, millennials, whatever they are, 20-somethings, rioting in half a dozen major U.S. cities. We're seeing the cops get brutalized, right? I mean, it's crazy what we're watching, and the mayors are doing nothing. The governors, nothing. They just let them do it. Don't arrest them. Don't do anything. Let them break into businesses. Let them spray paint graffiti everywhere. And my heart goes out to every small business owner that's affected by these people. How is this the United States? How does Seattle and Portland and all? How does these places happen?
It was given away, Joe, because Americans are comfortable, and they'll trade away a little bit of freedom for being comfortable.
Exactly, they will, and more. And we know what we found out. We'll trade a lot more than a little bit. We'll trade a lot of it.
Yeah, pain and suffering is the only thing that causes change, Joe. Is pain and suffering, and they're squishing the middle class down to the lower class. As long as there's still money there, and then when the pain and suffering finally comes, it's checkmate. It gets to be too late.
And then how about that couple? I want to say that they were in St. Louis as well. They were in the high-rent district, right? Obviously, very affluent neighborhood. A protest group broke into the neighborhood, broke down. Now, he had this wrought iron gate, like a door, but it was made of wrought iron. These things are expensive. Trust me, I know. That door that they broke through to get onto this man's property was probably $2,500, maybe $3,000. I mean, it's an expensive door. They break it down, and then are essentially on his property, heading towards his house. And he comes out with what looked like an AR-15.
Yep, a rifle.
Right? Get off of my property. Okay? It gets them to, essentially they were going to loot this guy's house. And he is being charged with a crime, a felony.
Yeah, and his wife.
Right? They're being charged with a felony, and they called the cops. The cops told them, yeah, we're not coming. They live in an area, they have their own private security. The private security company said, yeah, no, we're not sending our guys into that. Right? They're going to get the crap kicked out of them. He's just trying to defend his own property. And the prosecutor, another liberal Democrat, right? They don't charge the people that broke down and damaged his property. They called them peaceful protesters.
And think of the message that sends, Joe, about what private property ownership really means in this country.
Well, listen, this is what I'm telling you. You better wake up. Better get your financial. Listen, I can't help you spiritually. We got other shows on this network that will. But financially, you better get ready, because let me tell you right now, you're going to end up with nothing. That's what's going to happen. They're just going to take from those who have it, and they're going to redistribute it to those that don't, because there's a lot more that don't than do.
And Joe, let me say real quick, because I know you're going to jump into a pitch here, but this move today on silver being above $21 very quickly, and gold after it jumped above $1,800 like a week or so ago, and it just stayed above $1,800. So I don't think it's going below $1,800 now. You look at I've been saying on my show regularly that we're getting ready for a massive market crash. I don't care what anyone says; it's happening. Whether it's 6 months or if it's going to happen right before the election, this is going to happen. And if you are relying on Trump to save you, or you think that the Democrats are going to be the better party, these guys aren't helping you. These politicians on both sides, they're not here to help you. And as we get closer to the election, if John F. Kennedy came out of the grave to run for president, to abolish the Fed and get rid of the CIA, get rid of federal income tax, all restore our freedoms, his time for doing that is coming short. I keep telling people that this election is very important, because once one of their guys gets in, and I'm not the same as Eric, I don't believe Trump's here to save us. Once it's just down to Trump and Biden, that's it. This thing, we're on the clock, just like the NFL draft. We're on the clock. At any moment, this thing can nosedive, because we can't get some guy in there, that third-party guy that can say, you know what, I'm going to run things differently. I'm going to fix this whole thing. That third guy isn't out there, and I don't believe Trump is our guy either. So that's just how I see it, Joe. It's coming. It's coming soon.
Let me tell you, Joe Biden scares the hell out of me, because he's a horrible candidate. And the fact of the matter is,
he's not winning.
It's the end of July. The end of July, and he doesn't even have to pick a VP. There's no debates, right? There's nothing for people to realize this guy's an idiot. He's a clown. And then you start thinking about all the policies. We're swinging so far to the other side. And I just look at the deficits and the damage and all of this stuff that's being done right now. And like Jason said, we're on the clock. One way or another, whether it's this year or 4 years from now, the clock has started. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Real quick, so today's special, I've got 50, which, man, it's so hard to think. It's hard to get product. We got 50. These are going to be XF/AU $10 Liberties. And I'm telling you, dude, really nice. This is going to be sharp-looking product. A lot of 1866 to 1907, a lot of dates in the 1800s. You know how we do it here. Everybody and their brother in the gold business charges you extra for those types. We never do, never have, never will. Right now, our regular, what we call our circulated $10 Liberties today are $1,075. So you're going to go up a couple of grades, XF, AU, and save money today. $1,050 for an XF/AU $10 Liberty. I only have 50 of them at 800-951-0592. Gold's up $26 now, $1,843. Silver is up $1.25. The contract month, which is the next month, is at $21.47 already. Spot is hovering right around $21.20 right now in the silver market. And here's the thing: silver could be $25, could be $18. I don't have any. It's unobtainium right now. A lot of the gold turning the same way. Believe me, take the time, put them away. Get these $10 pieces and put them away and just sit back and watch what happens. We've got stimulus talk now. Now the Democrats and the Republicans are like, oh no, this didn't work out the way we thought, and we need to hurry up and get this money out there. It's too little, too late. I think we're going to have another round after this round. And like I said earlier in the show, I gave you our forecast for gold for the rest of the year. Put a gun to my head, closer to 3,000 than to 2,000, but somewhere between 2,500 and $3,000 is what I'm thinking at the, right now with what we know right now, and obviously that could change if things take a turn for the worse. It could be even higher than that. And as Jason was saying, hey, wait till we start talking about 2021, 2022, 2023. We'll be looking back at $2,000 and $3,000 gold as really, really cheap gold compared to where we're headed. 800-951-0592. My wife heard me yelling, Jason. She said that she actually forwarded me an article. The governor of Missouri, who is a Republican, says that he will pardon that couple if they get convicted.
Oh boy, then there'll be a recall on him, huh?
Oh yeah. So there you go. Patriot Radio News Hour. Always great to have Jason with us. Pick up the 10s. You're going to be glad you did. Believe me on that. And we'll all be back tomorrow and see what's available then. Everyone, take care. God bless. Keep Eric in your thoughts and your prayers, and we'll talk again tomorrow.